Welcome to Conversations with Haych. I have my bro here, MOBO award-winning artist, Mr. Multiple EPs, multiple mixtapes, multiple albums.
Just put them all out. He's got more than one. We know that.
A brand new one called Cry Like a Man.
Like a man.
Mr. Suave with the shirts, hats on a regular. An amazing lyricist, my guy. I got your full name here.
Yeah, go. Do you know what? Try it. Let me see. Go for it.
Oliver Toby.
Or EFS. Yeah.
AK4.
Yeah. King.
So, for those who don't know who you are, tell them who is Toby
Yeah.
and then who's Triple O.
Yeah,
How did it one in the same?
Do you know it's funny because it's funny. I was having this conversation with someone recently, and I think it's really it's a shame when, especially as gospel artists with monikers and names and whatnot, where you start to differentiate between the two, and it's almost like two different personalities. And for me personally, because of like some of the things I've wrestled with, it almost was like Toby's over here and Triple O's over here. And I had to learn to get to the space where I'm like, you're one in the same. And that came from like a lack of self-worth or just kind of caring so much about what other people thought. So now Toby and Triple O is the same thing. It's like it's just me in it. And I'm now in a stage of my life where I'm just like, look, it is what it is. I am who I am. Like, number one, my identity is in Christ, but like my circumstances and everything I've been through shapes who I am as a man. But who am I? Who's Toby? Do you know what? I'm a really chilled guy. I think I'm a chilled guy. I love, sometimes I think I'm too chilled. I love music. I love everything around music. And I like to have good dialogue and good conversations. I love it, kind of thing. Like having Bible studies and just being able to have conversations with individuals about various topics, whether it be on Twitter, I just like to have dialogue. So when you hollered at me for this, I was like, yo, this is gonna be cool because we just get to have like good dialogue, and I think that's one of the things I'm very much about. If people want to say, okay, who's Triple O? Like, not that they should be different, but it's just the artist, the musician, the wordsmith, the poet, who I do try within myself to articulate thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas, concepts, and stories through the medium of music. That's what I'm about. That's what I love to do. So, yeah, that's literally where we're coming from.
So, when did you become a Christian and why?
All right, cool. It's funny because I told this story to a few people recently. So I've always been brought up in a Christian home. My mum and dad, devout Christians, Bible-believing Christians. So I always had that around me, but I never really took the faith seriously until about, maybe I was like 18, 19. And it was through music that really pushed me to take the faith seriously. So I grew up in East London, and I went to a secondary school that was notorious for like loads of grime MCs. So like I was classmates with Tinchy Strider. He was in the same year as me. A couple of years above me was DWE. Gracious K was the year below me. So like I'm seeing all of this stuff like happen. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Sometimes when I remember in year 7, sometimes like I'll see Kano just come to skate, and I'm just like, oh yo, this is this. Everyone's like, oh, that's Kano. They're going to this is when they still doing Deja. This is when Nasty Crew was still Nasty Crew. You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm seeing all of this, and I'm like, yo, I want to do that. I want to do what like these men are doing, but I didn't live that lifestyle. But I thought, let me just write like that. Let me just write like them and just write and talk about what they're talking about. So it was an incident where I was writing that way, but I wasn't really jumping in the sets at school. So I would take my lyrics, and I was going to church. So there was one particular time where there was a cypher after church, and all my friends in church were like spitting Christian bars. So like they're all spitting, everyone's rapping. It's my turn, and I'm like, right, cool. So I'm coming with like the non-Christian content, and then they're like, wait, pause. Like, Toby, like your mum's over there. Like, we know you're not about that life. And at that point, I was just humbled. I was like, yeah, this is actually mad. Like, I'm genuinely not really about that life. So I thought, okay, cool, let me switch up my content. So it's funny because I started writing Christian content before I became a devout Christian.
Oh, wow.
So I just started, okay, let me just write about what I know kind of thing. So And I remember it was my 21st birthday, and an auntie in church, she was like, she knew that I was rapping, so she was like, okay, I'm gonna get you I've got you a present. And she said, okay. I said, thank you. And I asked her, what is it? And she said, oh, it's a Christian rap CD. I was like, Christian rap? Like, so in my mind, it's weird because I'm making this music, but I didn't think that this music was being made. So it was on Cross Movement's album, Higher Definition. And I remember like listening to the album. I remember the opening bar was like, opening lyric on the album was, I'm a soldier, but I told you I rep chips like I rep Jehovah. Something like that. I can't even remember the word for word. But I remember just the opening lyric on track 1 on that album, High Definition. I was like, yo, this is a vibe. Like, I can do this kind of thing. Again, I still wasn't necessarily like a devout Christian, but it was like the seeds were being sown. I started listening to the music. I started to take the faith a lot more seriously. Started making Christian music, and even how I came into the game with like El Dubsy and whatnot, kind of just like as a big bro / mentor, and how he pulled me in, and I'm just being around these things, and over a period of time that like the faith started becoming more real to me. And it was not until somebody, I think it must have been about like 21, 22, someone sat me down and was like, yo, do you know what the gospel is? You know what it means to be a Christian? And I was like, not really. And then they took me and explained to me what the gospel was. And it was off the back of that conversation, I was like, oh, snap. Do you know, I really want to give my life to Christ. So I must have been about 21, 22. But at this time, I've been making Christian music for 3 years.
Okay.
So I was making Christian music for 3 years, but I wouldn't say I was like born again kind of thing. But it's then everything started to kind of fall into place, and it was just like, all right, cool. Do you know what? Let's do this thing properly. And it hasn't been an easy road, and I wouldn't even say like I've got it right the whole time. But I think that's part of the journey. You know, like moving forward and having real life kick you in the stomach, and then kind of just having to get up and then keep going. So I think that's how that all kind of came together.
So how did Triple O become Triple O, the MOBO award-winning artist?
Again, Genesis. So a friend of mine, shout out to Timmy, aka TK. We went to school together, and I told him I'm making Christian music, and he was like, yo, and he's a Christian at the time. He's like, yo, have you heard of this thing called FOL, Festival of Life? I was like, no, I don't know what that is. He said, you should go there, you should perform. Now, Festival of Life is like this big conference that they still hold to today of redeemed churches. It's one of the biggest gatherings of just Pentecostal churches in London. It happened at the time. It was happening twice a year. And I remember it was like, just go. It's happening in the XL Exhibition Centre. There'll be loads of people there. I think there's like 20,000 plus people in attendance. Still going on now. And then he said, you should go there. You should perform. They've got like a youth section, which they did. So I was like, all right, cool. So I went down, and I remember just turning up at FOL. Now you got to remember, these kind of big events, they've got protocol. You can't just turn up and be like, yo, I'm a Christian MC, let me jump on stage. But I didn't know that. I thought that's how it was. So I got to FOL, and I'm there. I got there like 2 or 3 hours early, and I was like, yo, I'm a Christian MC. I make music for Jesus. Can I perform? And they were like, oh, go speak to this person, go speak to that person, go speak. So they're like, these ushers are giving me the runaround, and in my mind, I'm thinking that's gonna happen, but it's not really gonna happen. Like, so I remember, like, because I got there really early, I was watching the sound checks, and there was one guy that was doing sound check, and he had energy, jumping on stage, just like, dancers. And you gotta remember, this is 2005. So like, and then I'm like, who is this dude? So he comes off stage, comes off sound check, and I'm like, yo, bro, your sound check was sick. Like, who are you? What's your name? He said, oh, my name's El Dubsy. And then I was like, okay, cool. I said, oh yeah, I'm Triple O, I'm a rapper, like I'm up and coming, like he's like, first thing he said to me, spit for me.
Pressure.
Literally, like that was like, it was like, hey, how you doing? Rap for me right now. I was like, all right, cool. So I start rapping for him. He's like, all right, cool, you're sick. Give me your number, let me take your number, exchange. I got something for you. I'm like, we just met, you've already got something for me.
Got some beats in the back.
So I was like, all right, cool. So we linked up, like, I think about a week or two later. He took me to some studio, like it was deep Quay South, somewhere South London far. Grove Park, it was in Grove Park, South London. And he was like, yo, I'm putting this song together called Praise Project. I was like, yeah, it's gonna have like VOV, one guy someone from Commission. It's gonna have Faith Child. To me, these names were just made up names. I'm like, I don't know I don't know anything you're saying to me, but like, I'm trying to really make something. So we do the tune, and I remember the tune was Praise Project. So yeah, Simply Andy was on it. Faith Child was on it. VOV. Who else was on it? I can't remember if one of the Commission guys were on it, but there were a few dons on the tune. Yeah. And we recorded the tune, put it out, and it was like circulating around. And then it was the first time I ever heard myself on mainstream radio, because at the time there was a DJ called DJ Fitz who had a gospel show on One Extra. So that was every Sunday morning. So he played the tune. He was good relationships with Dubs. He played the tune. I'm like, yo, I'm on One Extra. I'm gassed. I'm like, yo, this is actually happening now. So he's like, yo, listen, Triple, you're sick. I want to take you out. I want to introduce you to everyone. Me, I'm thinking, now in my mind, I'm thinking, who's everyone? I thought I was the first Christian rapper in the UK. I thought, like, yo, like
Blueprint.
I thought man was the guy. And then I remember it was April 2005. Yeah. He took me to a church event in Tottenham, North London, and I remember seeing the flyer. I've got the flyer to this day. On the flyer, VOV, Commission, New Creation, Faith Child, Dwayne Triumph, Zion Noise. I remember the flyer just was mad. I was like, I'm like, in my mind, like, what is all of this? And who are these people? Went in and he's introduced me to all these different artists and I'm like, yo, there's a scene. Yeah. There's a scene. There was that, and then there was like the singers and the worship leaders, like your Four Corners, Cyanide, Raymond and Co, GK Real. And I'm like, yo, there's a proper UK gospel scene. I was like, right, all right, cool. I want to play. I want to play in this game. And then I put out my first promo CD, and I remember it was like 7 tracks, and then I recorded it. Then the following FOL, I remember I went back and I made 100 copies of this free promo CD, and one of the tracks actually had my number on it, and I'm just giving it out. I'm just giving it out, like, you know them mixtape shotters in West End. I'm just giving it to anyone that walks past. And I remember it was just off the back of that, off the back of Praise Project, and off the back of the relationships I'd built. Like, I started getting invited to shows and whatnot, and started doing shows. Then started working on proper projects. The album dropped in 2011. That dropped in July, and that year I actually dropped 2 projects before the album. I look back and I'm like, how did you do that? Drop 3 projects in 1 year. I'm working on a 7-track EP now, and I'm like, this is stress. Like, these times we had, because I remember 2011 we dropped Overnight Garden, then I dropped 24 The Gratitude EP, and then I dropped Flatline, the album. I'm like, you dropped 3 projects in the space of 5 months. Like, how did you do that? But I guess when you're hungry, you got that, you know, and the quality may have been compromised a little bit on some stuff, but like, you know, we live and you learn.
Was it at a different time in life?
It was a different time in life, yeah. I had less responsibilities. And then later on that year, that's when the whole MOBO nomination came. And I felt like, whoa, like, this is like 6 years worth of work. Now just coming, I didn't even expect it. Didn't even expect it. And coming into play. And it's been an amazing journey. And I anytime I kind of think back about the journey up until this point, I'm like, yo, this is amazing. This is dope. And I'm grateful to God. But I genuinely feel like I'm just getting started now. Okay. I genuinely feel like as I'm working on music now, I feel like, yo, I'm a brand new artist. I feel like this is all new. This is all new. Because I've seen a lot of artists come and go. I've seen a lot of groups come and go. But it's like, for me, I'm like, okay, cool. This is an opportunity to really like make what you do known to people who don't know you, not purely because of, oh, I'm trying to be famous, but like I'm trying to present an alternative, because I have to look at it like this. Like, right now, how old am I now? I'm like 30. I'm 32. I'm 32 now. Me and J. Cole, Drake, Wretch, we're all in the same age bracket. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And the mindset that people have for Christian rap is for the kids. It's for the little children. So for me, I'm like, all right, cool. My peers are listening to them, man. But people are still seeing what we do or what I do is for the kids, for the 16-year-olds, which is fine. It's cool. Those are the ones who come out to the shows. Those are the ones who. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, I want to make music for my peers. I want people who are like my age bracket and above, or just within that sphere, be like, yo, yeah, I listen to Triple. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
So you go from that, 2011, and in 2017 you release your next album. So that's 6 years. So what happens in those 6 years to get you to that point, and how different was the how you put that album together in
process,
2017. How different was the process?
So Flatline came out 2011, but that was like a reset because we actually finished the album at the end of 2009, and it was originally called The Heart of Redemption.
Yeah.
And I remember finishing it, I was like, I don't like it. It felt rushed, it felt kind of messy. So we started all over again. So we rebuilt Flatline and we wrote, recorded, produced it in the space of like a year.
Okay.
And then it dropped. And I remember the week it dropped, I was like, I'm not happy with this project. I don't like it.
Really?
I remember the week. I remember the week it dropped. Like 2 days after it dropped, I came on social media. I said, I'm not happy with this project. I fell into a really mad headspace, and for about a week and a bit, or maybe two, I didn't promote the project at all. I didn't promote the project. But then I said to myself, do you know what? You have to be grateful because some people don't even have the opportunity to release music. So we just carried on and we did bits and pieces and whatnot. So I said to myself, after that, if I'm going to release music, I want it to be at a standard that I'm happy with, that reflects where I'm at, and is to like, I'm just like, proud of what I'm doing. So we dropped in 2015. We dropped The Overnight Garden Volume 3, which I subtitled Telescopes and White Roses, which I said, this is a free project, but I want to treat it like an album to get myself ready. So in between Flatline and Zero Not Equal to One, there was Telescopes and White Roses. And I wanted to kind of like carry on the Overnight Garden story, but then at the same time, create a body of work that was like an album, but wasn't an album. So it's like, it's on Spotify now, but it was a free project at the time. So, all right, cool. Right, you know how to make a body of work, or you've gotten better at making a body of work. Let's now transition into album. So we started at the beginning of 2015, just as we were finishing off Telescopes and White Roses. I hope I'm getting my dates right. I really do hope I'm getting my dates right.
They're gonna check you, they're gonna fact check you.
Yeah, they're gonna, and on the comments, But yeah, we started writing Zero Not Equal to One, and I said to myself, all right, cool, we're gonna put together a body of work which, like, thematically talks about something that's really dear to your heart, and that's mental health. And the whole premise of the album, from the album title, is about an imbalance in the heart and imbalance in the mind. And I wanted to kind of address that on the album and really kind of like unpack it. And so Telescopes and White Roses, I was proud of. Zero Not Equal to One, I was like, yo, I like this project. Like I'm very happy with this. So that's how we kind of like moved there, and that was like the timing and the spacing of all of that, which is something I look back on, I'm like, yo, that was fun. And I promised myself, when I make music moving forward, I want to have fun with it. I want to enjoy the process of making it. I want to enjoy the process of mixing and mastering and promoting it. I want to enjoy the process of releasing it. I just want to enjoy music, because at this stage, you're like, I've invested way too much of my life into something to not enjoy it. It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. If I'm not going to enjoy it, what's the point? You know?
So you released that in 2017. You promote 6 months.
6 months, yeah. Yeah.
And then December 2017, she last post on Instagram that year, and then you don't post for probably...
I think it's about a year and a half. Something like that.
You don't post for a very long time.
Very long time.
Especially on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. No, okay, I knew it. Go for it.
You post for a very long time.
Yeah.
What happened in that space of time for you to go from, because you were promoting like, it was like once or twice a month, it felt like, from when you released the album. So then December came and then you were gone.
Yeah.
So what happened in that space of time?
Yeah. No, so we dropped the album July 2017. Yeah, July 2017. And I remember, like, just in that period of time, there was just a lot of stuff I was going through within myself. And then we come into summer and I'm like, oh wow, God, you're blessing me with a beautiful baby girl. Praise God, hallelujah. Circumstances are not ideal or the conventional way, especially when we're looking at like the Christian standards. And I just remember thinking to myself, how am I gonna, I was very selfish. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And even as I look back on that period of time, I'm like, yo, you just did everything wrong in terms of like your accountability, in terms of those involved in the situation directly, with just those around you. You just handled everything wrong. And I remember we dropped the album July 2017, June, July. I was touring during the summer, and then in August I found out that I'd been nominated for a MOBO again. And I remember after I found out I got nominated, I was like, I pray I don't win, because if I win, I've got to kind of stay in the forefront of people. And I've just found out that, you know, life's responsibilities are upon me in not a conventional way. So I'm just like, I'm genuinely, my prayer is I do not want to win the MOBO again.
That's crazy, you know. And
I remember my last ever shot, so they called me, MOBO called me and said, yo, can you perform at the ceremony? And I was like, I'm about to take a break. I'm about to step back from music ministry. And I'm just like, all right, you know what? I'll do it. And I did it. So I performed at the ceremony. And I remember being at the ceremony, I don't want to win. And I remember Volley Morgan and New E won. I was like, oh, praise God, thank you, Jesus.
Wow.
I remember literally that was my prayer, I don't want to win. And then I remember as I was like, at the end of the night, they were like really intrigued. One of the judges kind of thing came up to me and was like, yo, you really should have won, especially based off like
everything you've done. Yeah.
I was like, no, it's cool. Like, I'm happy. This is my favor, because that was my last ever show. That set at the MOBOs was my last ever show. So that was I think that was October 2017. It was my last show for a year and for 18 months plus. After that, I was like, yeah, cool. I was scheduled to do Islington Academy that year to kind of celebrate the album. We had to lock off the show. Had to lock off. And I was just like, yeah, listen, life's responsibilities are upon you. Wow. You just need to take a step back and just kind of reassess what is going on and what steps and what direction you're going to take. But even in the midst of that, I was so scared.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because you're like, yo, you haven't got it right. You haven't done things in the right way. You've upset a lot of people. You've kind of like done things in a way which is not, this is not right. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah, you and then you're still worried about, and this is what I was talking about earlier on. Yeah. So you're so consumed in a selfish way about what other people are going to say. So at the time, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, this person follows me. Oh, they're going to unfollow me. Like, yo, big man, you've got bigger responsibilities coming, and you're worried about who's going to follow you or unfollow you.
This is the truth.
But it's just that's what I'm saying. That's what was going through my head at the time.
Wow.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Very selfishly so.